Hello, my name is Naman, and I'm going to be your instructor for this project. We're going to be creating an artificial intelligence chatbot using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We're going to be using HTML to lay the foundation of our app, we're going to be using CSS to style our app, and we're going to be using JavaScript to add functionality to our app. This video will be creating a project that is super simple, but it's going to give you a lot of practice with these three programming languages. We're going to be creating a chatbot. So yeah, let's get started. So we're going to start off by installing a code editor. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code for this tutorial, but you can use any other code editor. Just make sure that that code editor supports HTML, CSS, and JavaScript content. You can use code editors such as Sublime Text, Brackets, or Notepad, but I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code. If you want to install Visual Studio Code for your system, head over to your browser, open a new tab. Here you want to type in Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code. Here you can download it. You want to click on this link from Visual Studio Code Code Editing Redefined, and here you want to click on the download link in the top right corner. Then close this tab. Now open your code editor. Inside your code editor, create a new file. I already have a file created. It's called tutorial.html. So now that I'm here in this tutorial.html file, we're going to start building our app. So to start building our app, we need the basic content for a page. So whenever you build anything in HTML, you need a basic boilerplate format. So to get that boilerplate format, you want to put an exclamation mark and click enter in Visual Studio Code. This trick might not work in your code editor, it might work in mine, but you want to get to this sort of basic thing where you have, the head tag, the title tag, the body tag, and all sorts of things like that. So if you're not, then you can pause it. If you don't have that feature, then you can pause the video right now and copy this down. These two lines are not necessary, but they are helpful sometimes. So inside the title tag, you want to write chatbot with B capital, all right? And now I'm going to go inside the body tag, and here I'm going to write script tag. This is where we're going to write our JavaScript, and the place we're going to write our CSS is inside the style tag, so here. So now that we've laid out the foundation for our page, we're going to start coding. So, like always here at Programming with Mon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the source code on the left and explanation on the right. Also, the source code will be in the description. So, what we have here is the source code on the left and explanation on the right. So we're going to start off by going inside the style tag, and yeah, let's get started with coding. So inside the style tag, you want to write body, curly brackets, and inside this you want to write margin, 0, move to the next line. Padding, 0. Move to the next line. Width, 100%. Move to the next line. Height, 100 VH. Move to the next line. Now we're on the next line. Here we're going to write overflow as hidden, position as relative, and the background color as pale turquoise. You can put in whatever background color you want. Then we're going to go outside of these curly brackets and write dot box. And it might show some error for you, but this dot box has not been created yet. This is a class. We're going to be creating all of this inside the body tag when we do our HTML. But right now it might show you some errors. Don't worry, all those errors will be fixed at the end when we start writing our HTML. We're going to start off by the CSS because it's the hardest thing to do. So inside the box, you want dot box, you want to write 490 pixels. All right, next line, height, and here you want to put 350 pixels. Next line, here you want to write box hyphen shadow, and give this as 5 pixels, space 5 pixels, space 20 pixels, and then hashtag or number sign, and then 3 zeros. Alright, move to the next line. Here you want to write position as absolute, so position as absolute. Move to the next line. Write top and give it 50%. 50%. Then write left and give it 50%. 50%. Okay. Then write transform. And Here you want to write translate and then round brackets, and inside this minus 50%, comma, space, minus 50% again. Alright, now I'm going to be moving a little bit faster, and you can always pause the video if I go a little bit too fast, right? So now we're going to write border radius, and we're going to give this 20 pixels, alright? Then we're going to go outside of these curly brackets, we're going to write dot top, curly brackets. Inside these curly brackets, you want to write width as 100%, and then you want to write height as 80 pixels, Then we're going to give it a background as can, which is a good color, I like it. Then we're going to write border bottom left radius, except instead of bottom, I'm going to put in top because we need the top right now. We're doing top. All right, and give this 20 pixels. All right, and now what you're going to do is you're going to copy this and paste it in the next line. And instead of left, you want to just write right. Okay, then we're done with that. Now you want to go outside of top, and you want to write dot top h1, space h1. Then start curly brackets and move to the next line. In the next line, you want to write margin inside of these curly brackets as 0 again. Then we're going to give it a font size of, let's give it around something like 30 pixels. I think that's good. Okay, let's give it a color of Crispin, which is kind of like scarlet, or like a red and orange mixture, so crimson. All right, then we're going to align this text to the center. We want it to be the center of our app. Then we're going to write padding top, and let's give it something like 10 pixels. Okay, now we're going to give it a font family, or like font, as monospace or sans serif, your choice. I'm going to be doing sans serif for now. You can put in any font, to be honest, but I think you should choose between those two. They're the best, in my opinion. Dot mid, curly brackets. Inside these curly brackets, width as 100%, and height as 150 pixels, and give it a background of yellow. All right, go outside of these curly brackets and write dot mid space dot chat. Right curly brackets. Inside these curly brackets, you want to write width is 100%. All right. Then you want to go outside of these curly brackets and you want to write dot mid dot chat and then h2 curly brackets. And I'm going to scroll down so you guys get a little bit of a better view. Dot mid dot chat h2, and inside this, margin as 0. All right, font size as 30 pixels, color as black or hashtag 000. I would recommend you put in hashtag 00. It's gonna come handy later. I'll explain everything, don't worry. Padding, colon, and then inside this, 30 pixels, space 20 pixels. Okay, move to the next line and write text align center. Okay, then we're gonna go to the next line and write dot mid space dot chat and space p, curly brackets. Inside of these curly brackets, you want to write margin of 0. This is all styling, in case you guys forgot. We're still doing styling, but don't worry, we're gonna be doing everything. Then we're gonna give it height of 30 pixels. And let's give it a font size of 28 pixels, all right? And we also want the color to be blue, the color of the paragraph to be blue. And then we want to align this text in the center like we always do. Text align center, and we're going to give it a background color of yellow. I think that's good. And then let's give it, like, font weight is basically something like, kind of like opacity, not exactly, but we basically want the font to look heavier. I'm not sure if I explained that really greatly. Letter spacing, this is basically the space between the letters. We're going to write 0.04 EM for this, okay? And we're done, so go outside of these curly brackets, and then we want to write dot input, curly brackets. Inside of these curly brackets, you want to write height height, and you want to put in a colon. You want to write 100 pixels, sorry, 100%, and then you want to move to the next line and write width is 489 pixels. All right, you want to move to the next line, and here you want to write overflow as hidden. Okay, now move outside of these curly brackets, and outside of these curly brackets, you want to write dot input space input. Curly brackets, inside of these curly brackets, let's write width as 100%. Then we're going to give it a height of 110 pixels. And we're going to give it outline as none. We're going to give it a border as none. And we're going to give it padding left as, I think we're good with 30 pixels for now. We're going to leave the padding top to 0 for now. 0. Okay. We're going to write font family, and let's give it monospace, because last time we did sans serif. Monospace. And then you want to write font size, and let's give it 50 pixels. Okay. Move to the next line and write background as lime. Okay. So we're done with most of the styling. Now let's check if we missed anything. So we did dot input, dot mid chat, dot mid chat h2, dot mid chat p, dot mid chat alone, and then before that we did dot top h1, dot top, we did dot box, body, and body. Okay, so we've done everything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go outside of the style tag. We're done with our work in the style tag. And we're going to go inside the body tag, but not inside the script tag. So I'm going to make some lines here. Now this is super important. This is where most of the people's program go wrong. So we're going to create a div ID as box. So a class, sorry. So basically in HTML or in Visual Studio Code, basically if you write dot box and you click enter, it's going to give you a div class with the class as box. So I'm going to be using shortcuts, but you can always pause the video and write the code. So we're going to be writing all the other divs inside of here. So I'm going to leave some lines. Now I'm going to write div. And I'm going to give it a style of text line of center. Okay. And we are also going to give it a class of top. Okay. And inside this, we are going to put in a heading 1. And let's give this heading 1 as send a message. Send a message. Exclamation mark. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go outside of this div tag, and we're going to write another div tag, except this time we're going to give it a class of mid. Okay? So div class as mid. And inside of this div tag, we're going to give it another div, and we're going to give this div a class of chat. So a class of chat. We're going to end this div tag. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go inside of this div chat, and we're going to give it a heading 2. Okay? A heading 2. And we're going to give this heading 2 answers are below. Answers are below. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go underneath this, inside this div tag that we are already in, and we're going to give it PID, paragraph, ID, and let's give it chat log, L capital. This is super important, and it's going to be really useful at the end of the program. Then we're going to write let's chat. Okay. So after we're done with that, we are going to go over here underneath this, okay, and we are going to write a underneath these div tags, and I accidentally have all of this useless space here. I don't know why, but yeah, we're gonna go here and we're gonna write div, and we're gonna give it a class of input. This is where the user inputs for whatever he wants in the chatbot. And this div tag, and inside this div tag we want to write an input tag, okay, input tag, and let's give it a type of text. All right, I'm going to be moving a little bit fast. ID of user box, B capital. Don't forget the B to be capital. Go outside of these double quotes, and you want to write on key down is equal to double quotes, and here you want to write an if statement, if round brackets, and inside these round brackets, event dot key with code with a C capital, and space equals 13, which means that when we hit the enter key, then it wants to call a function. So we write curly brackets after this, outside of that, and inside these curly brackets, we're going to write 2 spaces. Inside, we go in the middle of those 2 spaces, and here we write talk and then round brackets. Okay. Now we're going to go outside of this, outside of these curly brackets, and we're going to write placeholder as type a message. This is the user inputting something. That's why. And okay, yeah, so we're doing something wrong here. I really want to find out what. Okay, so we need to end that. Yeah, so we're back. I forgot the double quotes over here. So I'm going to end the input tag right over here. Okay, so now let's check if we've done anything wrong. I don't think we have, but nothing wrong in being sure. So we created 2 divs up there, and then a couple of divs here, and then we had the main div. Yeah, okay, so we're all good. Okay, now we're going to go inside the script tag. All right, make some space inside the script tag, and I'm going to write a function here. I'm going to name it talk. I'm going to write curly round brackets, curly brackets. Now, inside of these curly brackets, what we want to do is we want to write variable no is equal to, and then you want to write curly brackets. Now, inside of these curly brackets, you want to write some functions. So these are the functions that the chatbot is going to talk about. Let's say we say hi and we want the chatbot to say hello. So that's what we need to do here. So we're going to write double quotes, colon, double quotes. Now put a comma after that. Copy this and paste it 3 times. Excuse me. Now, put in some statements. I put in some statements. Hello, hi, how are you? Great. And then what we want to do is inside of this, we want to write bye, and we'll put in, bye, and we'll put in have a nice day. So these are just for testing. We're actually going to be creating it much more advanced later, but we just need to test this. Okay, we're going to put a semicolon after this curly bracket, and here we're going to write variable user is equal to document dot get element by ID, round brackets, and inside these round brackets, single quotes. Here you're going to put user, B capital, box, user box. Outside of these round brackets, you want to write dot value, not node value, dot value, plain just value, all right, dot value, semicolon, and next line, and here you want to write document dot get element by ID, and here we're going to give it an ID of chat log, okay, and here we're going to go outside of this, and we're going to write dot inner HTML, okay, dot inner HTML is equal to user plus double quotes and a BR tag, break tag. Okay, so now that we're done with this, we're going to put a semicolon here, and you want to copy this statement, all right? Now what we're going to do is we are going to write an if statement. So we're going to move to the next line, and here you want to write if round brackets, inside those round brackets, user in no. If user in no. Then we're going to start curly brackets, and inside of these curly brackets, you will want to paste that we just copied. And instead of user just being there plainly, we want to put no square brackets and put user inside those square brackets, okay? And so as you can see, we made the changes. So you can pause the video right now if you need to catch up or anything, but I think you should be good. Now you see this curly bracket right here? We're going to write else here, and we're going to start curly brackets, and inside these curly brackets, we want to paste that same statement. But instead of all this user stuff, what we're going to do is you're just going to put double quotes, Inside these double quotes, I do not understand. I do not understand. Okay, now I'm going to save this. So let's make sure that the program is working, should work properly. So we gave it a title, we styled the program pretty nicely, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing wrong with that. We ended the style tag and we wrote the div tags, box, div style, and everything. Created the div tags in proper order. Now inside the script tag, we have written all this. I don't think we need all these extra lines. All right, so the program looks good. There might be some error. If there is some error, we will fix the error, so don't worry. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go inside my Finder, or wherever you store everything, you can check everything. So I'm going to go on this file, tutorial.html. Okay, so this is what we get. All right, looking pretty good. We're going to style it a little bit more if we want. So let's type a message, let's type in hi, and we click enter, and as you can see, it types in hello. So yeah, the program is working. So let's say I type in, how are you? It types in great. Let's say I type in bye. Let's see what it types. It says have a nice day. So as you can see, the chatbot is working. Now let's say you want to add more functions than just this. You can go over to your code editor and go over to the project, and here you see all this. Just put more, right? Just put more. Yeah, it's that simple. Just make sure to put the commas. And now we want to add a more function like hello, all right? And we want the chatbot to say, hi, what's up? What's up? And we save this, and we go back and we refresh it. And now if I write hello, it's gonna say hi, what's up? So you can add like millions and millions of functions depending on how free you are, how much free time you have. And you can style it, put in different colors and everything like that. That's up to you. But yeah. So guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and as you can see, this is the program with my YouTube channel. So here we've done all sorts of tutorials. We've done 2 chatbot with JavaScript tutorials. These tutorials have done really good, and the reason I created another one is these tutorials were simple and good, but they were a little bit boring and simple. This is much more advanced, it's much better styled, it has like the whole chat box, it has a design, it has a really good user interface, and I'm pretty proud of this tutorial. So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.